Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. Amma ba'du. We have reached story number 25 in Al-Qira'at al-Rashida, Al-Khamis wal-Ishrun. And this is a brief reading dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 abiyat, or 10 bait, 10 lines of poetry. If you remember, we said a line of poetry is called bait, just like the word house, right? Baytun. And in the plural it is abiyat. Whereas house, when it becomes plural, it becomes buyut. So bait, abiyat. And poetry in Arabic is shi'r. Shi'run. Poetry. So here we have 10 lines of poetry dealing with sharrun wa khayrun. Shar, evil, wa khayr, good. Inshallah, this will be easy for us. Sharul maqali al-kadhibu, khayrul khisali al-adabu. Shar, and we had this before. Then when we have words like hasan, when we want to make them superlative, we say ahsan. Right? When we have this word shar, it can also be its superlative form. It can also be its superlative form. So shar can be evil, and it can be more evil. Or it can be the most evil, depending on the context. The same word. You don't have to have that as in kabir, akbar, hasan, ahsan, so on and so forth. You don't have to have that alif and so forth. It itself can be its own superlative. So he says, shar al-maqali. Maqal comes from qaf, waw, lam. Like the word qala yaqulu, qawlun. Al-maqal is a statement. It's another word for qawlun, right? A statement. Sharrul maqali al-kadhib. The most evil of words is a lie. The most evil of words is a lie, or is lying. Al-kadhib. It's the most evil of words, the most evil of statements, the most evil of speech. Khayrul khisali al-adab. And khayr is similar to shar. It is its own superlative. So sharrul maqali al-kadhibu, khayrul khisali al-adabu. Khisal comes from kha, sad, lam, right? Here it means a quality or a characteristic or a trait. Al-khisal. So sharrul maqali al-kadhibu, the most evil of speech or statements, is lying. Khayrul khisali al-adabu. And the best of characteristics or traits is adab, manners. Having good manners and behavior. Maqal can also be like an article, something where you say something in, like an article, right? Something that you write in, you have a statement that you say about something. So the first line, Sharul maqali al-kadhibu khayrul khisali al-adabu. The most evil of speech or statements is lying, And the best of characteristics is adab, having manners. Line 2. Al-bukhul aybun fadihu wal-judu sitrun salihu. Right? Al-bukhul from ba, kha, lam, here meaning to be stingy or to be greedy. Right? Aybun. Al-bukhul is an ayb from ayn ya ba. Ayn ya ba. Right? Aib, a shortcoming, a shameful shortcoming, right? A aib, a shortcoming. Right? As we learned in the story about the etiquettes of eating, ma'ab an-nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam ta'amin qat. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never put down or belittled anything. Aib come from that same word, ab an-nabi. He never ab, right? Never ab, never put down. So al-bukhl aibun fadihu. Now fadih is an adjective of aib, and normally it would have a tanween. And we're going to see that a lot in this poetry here. It should have a tanween, or it normally would have a tanween, but due to the rhythm or the rhyme of the poetry, then they do not put it. As we said when we talked about poetry at first, that poetry has a certain rhythm, unlike in English. In English, you can, as long as it rhymes and you have some freedom to move about and not be so stringent in the guidelines of poetry, Arabic has certain forms of poetry that it must not go outside of. So here, the tanween is not pronounced. Fadih from fa, dad, ha is similar to the word aib, meaning shameful. So al-bukhlu aibun fadihun. That stinginess, greediness, is a shameful shortcoming. Aib being the shortcoming. Wal-judu sitrun salihu. Again, salih is an adjective of sitr. It would have a tanween, but because of the poetry, then we do not pronounce the tanween there. Wal-jud from jim, waw, dal, meaning generous, the opposite of bukhl. Right? So in this lesson, so far we've learned some opposites. We've learned shar and khair. Right? Now we're learning al-bukhl. We'll just put it without the alif lam. Bukhl. Right? And al-jod. Or we'll just put jod. Same way we took it off there. Jod. Right? Well, jod, generosity or generousness. Sitrun is a cover. Right? Is a cover from sin ta ra. It's a cover. A veil. Salihu. Righteous from sad lam ha. Right? It is a righteous cover. Meaning it covers up your shortcomings. Right? Fadih. Fadih, shameless, no cover. Go outside naked, no shame, right? Sitrun is the opposite of that. No, there's some shame, there's some cover. This is a al-jodu sitrun salihu. It's a righteous cover. Gonna cover up for some of your mistakes. Being generous. Al-aqlu, the intellect, qadin adilu. Al-aqlu, the intellect, from ayn, qaf, lam, qadin, is a judge. This word qadin is from the irregular verbs from qada, has a alif maksura at the end. When it becomes a noun, it's qadin. Right? We drop our ya. We don't say qadi, except for if we add the alif lam. Then we say al-qadi. right? Al-Qadiyu. But here, without the alif lam, we drop our ya. When we say qadin, it's marfu, like aib and fadih, like sitrul and salih, like adil, it's marfu. However, it's marfu here. We do not see its sign necessarily of the dhamma because of that ya being dropped. Right? Al-aqlu qadin is a judge. Adilu, righteous. And again, the tanween is dropped. A just or fair judge. The intellect is a just. Adil, just or fair. Qadin, judge. It's a fair, equal, just judge. وَالْعُجْبُ دَاءٌ قَاتِلُ. وَالْعُجْبُ. Al-ujb from Ain Jim Ba means to have vanity or conceit or pride, to be amazed with oneself. Al-ujb is to be amazed with oneself. Right? Da'un from dawa, da, wow, ya. Ibn Qayyim has a famous book, Ad-Da' wad-Dawa, the sickness and the cure, right? Or the disease and the cure. So da'un is a disease or a sickness. Al-ujub, al-ujbu, the being amazed with oneself. Da'un qatilu. Again, qatil should have a tanween, but because of the poetry, it does not. It is a qatil from qatala, to kill. Qatil is a killer. It is a killing disease. Wal-ujbu da'un qatilu. And being amazed with oneself is basically a killing disease, or a disease which kills, however you choose to translate it. Al-umru from Ain Mim Ra means your life or your livelihood, your age. Dayfun rahilu. Dayf from Dad Ya Fa means guest. The plural duyuf. Right? Dayf. In life or livelihood or age, your lifespan is a dayf, is a guest. Rahilu. From Ra Ha Lam. Ra Ha Lam meaning is departing. It's traveling. Right? Dayfun rahilu. And your lifespan is a departing guest. وَالْمَالُ ذِلٌّ زَائِلُ. وَالْمَالُ, wealth. And wealth, al-mal, money or wealth. ذِلٌّ from dha lam, meaning shade. It is shade. Za'ilu. Za'ilu from zay waw lam. Here za'ilu meaning fleeting, passing, right? Short-lived. So rahil here is kind of like a synonym to za'il. And I didn't put the line here to show you, right, that it is not, it's a synonym. The line in the equal sign meaning here it's not equal, or it's an antonym, right? So al-umru dayfun rahilu wal-malu dhillun za'ilu. That lifespan is a departing guest, and wealth is a fleeting shade, or a short-lived shade. Al-birru lil-hubbi sabab. Inna al-bakhila la yuhab. Al-birr from ba-ra, meaning to be righteous. Lil-hubbi, hub from ha-ba, meaning love. Here we'll translate it in a second. Li, the word was originally al-hub, right? Meaning to love, Allah, love. But li was placed there, and whenever we put the lam there, we don't just put it in front of the aleph, rather we drop the aleph and it becomes lil-hub. Sabab. And this wording as poetry does sometimes, and even regular speech. It's flipped around. Al-birru sababun lil-hubbi. That's what it would be like, right? Al-birru sababun lil-hubbi. That righteousness is a reason. Sabab, from seen ba. Sabab is a reason. Lil-hubbi, for love, meaning it causes you, righteousness causes people to love you. So it says, Al-birru lil-hubbi sabab. Righteousness is for love a reason. But righteousness is a reason for love if we translate it in the proper order. Innal bakhila la yuhab. Indeed, the bakhil is the one who has this bukhul, the stingy person. The stingy person is called the bakhil. Innal bakhila, it's mansub after inna, right? Indeed, the stingy person, la yuhab. Yuhab here is majhul or passive, meaning is not loved. Right? Al-bakhila la yuhab. It's not loved. The person who is stingy, la yuhab. He's not loved. Taharatul akhlaqi. Tahara from tahara. We already know that, meaning tahara, the purity. Right? The purity. Al-akhlaqi. Akhlaq is the character. The purity of akhlaq. Min karamil a'raq. Is from karam, nobility, kaf, ra, mim, nobility, al-a'raq. A'raq, from ayn, ra, qaf, meaning noble descent. Noble descent. So, taharatul akhlaqi min karam al-a'raqi, that purity of character is from the nobility of descent. Nobility of lineage. Having noble lineage. So basically the noble lineage is taharatul akhlaq, to have pure intention, not just so much where you're from, but your behavior. Al-kidhbu wal-namima. Al-kidhbu, like al-kadhib, lying. Wal-namima, from noon mim, meaning to carry tales. Al-kidhbu wal-namima. Wal-ghadru sharru shima. Wal-ghadr. So we have al-kidhab, lying, wal-namima, tail tearing, wal-ghadr, from ghain, dal, ra, meaning to betray or to be treacherous. Wal-ghadr. Al-kidhbu wal-namima wal-ghadru. The lying and tail carrying and treachery. Sharru shima. Shar, we know that's evil. And shima is another word for akhlaq, right? So we could have a similitude here. We could have akhlaq equaling shima. Right? So al-kidhbu wal-namima wal-ghadru sharu shima. That lying and tail carrying and treachery is the evil character. The evil character. The evil natural disposition, in other words. تأنى في الأمور لا سيما السرور. تأنى comes from Aleph, Noon, Aleph Maksura. Anna, this is form 5 here. Do we have ta'anna? Means to be deliberate, right? To not rush in. And we'll have an opposite here in a minute, so I'll write it up here. Ta'anna. Right? Meaning to be deliberate. Fil umuri. Be deliberate. Be patient. Don't rush into affairs. La siyama. La siyama, you would look up siyama from seen, wow, Aleph Maksura. And that's because it's two different words, basically. Siya and ma. La siyama, though, as a phrase, If you look up in a Hans Word Dictionary, you look it up under Sin, Waw, Ya. If you look it up under Sin, Ya, Mim, it's going to point you to Sin, Waw, Ya. La siyama means especially or mainly, right? Especially or mainly. As-sururi from Sin, Ra. Sin, Ra means happiness or pleasure. So the phrase or the bait, it says ta'anna fil umuri la siyama as-sururi. Be deliberate in your affairs. Be patient in your affairs, especially happiness. Meaning, and the lesson or the moral here is, and Allah knows best, is that everything that makes you happy you don't rush into it because it might be bad for you. This life was not created as a play and amusement. So everything that causes happiness, you should be careful in that. Ta'anna fil umuri. Be patient in affairs. La siyama sururi, especially ones that are happiness and pleasure. Wa'jal. Wa'jal from Ain Jim Lam, and this is the opposite here. And rush. Wa'jal and rush. Ilal khayrat. Khayrat is the plural of khayr, the good things, right? Wa'jal ilal khayrat, and rush to do good deeds. Khayrat. Min hadar al fawati. Min, from, hadar, meaning caution. Hadar, here is caution. Al fawat. Fawat from fa, waw, ta, meaning passing or expiration. Right? Wa'ajal ilal khayrati min hadar al fawati. Rush to do good deeds from being cautious that they might expire, meaning the opportunity for you to do them might go away. That ability for you to help that person who needs it, they might fulfill their need and then you no longer get that help. Right? You no longer get that good deed that you wanted to do by helping. Right? So, wa'jal ilal khayrat. Ta'anna fil umur. Be patient and deliberate in your matters. La siyama sururi, especially things which bring about pleasure. Wa'jal ilal khayrat, and rush to do good deeds. Min hadar al fawati, from caution of them passing away and going away, not having the ability to perform them. Ma laka ghayru nafsika. Ma laka. Ma, here is a negation. Laka is for you. Basically, there is not for you, or you don't have, ghayru nafsika. And this alif here is for the rhyme. Right? It's for the rhyme. Ma laka ghayru nafsika. There is not for you other than yourself. Right? You don't have anything other than yourself. Meaning to worry about, as we will see. And ghayru is one of those words that the word after it becomes majroor. Nafsika. Right? Yourself. You don't have anything except yourself. La taku anha mumsika. La taku. Taku, if you've been following the access to Quranic Arabic, then we had this where we have the word kana yakunu, which becomes, when we're talking about you, we say takunu. Right? Takunu. Now la makes it a negation, which makes it majzoom. So we say la takun, and we put a shadda on the noon because it's majzoom. It's Joseph. But then we have a shadda also on that wow, even though we don't write it, so we drop it. So we say takun. Right? Takun. La takun. Now taku is an abbreviation of this. La taku. Right? And it's in the Quran. La taku anha mumsika. Do not become, or do not be, anha ha here, referring back to the nafs. Nafs, the soul or yourself, is feminine. Mumsika from mim, sin, kaf, meaning to withhold or to be greedy or to be stingy. Similar to, if we say bakhil here, we could give it a synonym here, even though not always will it be that way. Mumsik here is a synonym for it. Bakhil, stingy. Mumsik, holding back and withholding. So it says, Malaka gayru nafsika. You don't have anything other than yourself. La taku anha mumsika. Do not be one that like withholds from it. Who withholds the good from it, basically. Right? So with that, inshallah ta'ala, we will go over this again real quick. Right? We'll go over all the lines and translate them one by one without the explanation in there. Sharrul maqalil kadhibu. The most evil of speech or statements is lying. Khairul khisali al adabu. And the best of characteristics is adab, manners. Al bukhlu aybun fadihu. Being stingy or greedy is a shameful shortcoming. Wal judu sitrun salihu. And generosity is a righteous cover. Al-aqlu qadin adilu. The intellect is a just judge. Wal-ujbu da'un qatilu. And being amazed at oneself, having self-amazement or self-astonished about what you're capable of doing is a killing disease or sickness. Al-umru dayfun rahilu. The life, your lifespan that you've been given is a departing guest. وَالْمَالُ ذِلٌّ زَائِلُ. And your wealth, wealth is a transient shade. It is a passing or fleeting shade. الْبِرُّ لِلْحُبِّ sabab. Righteousness is a reason for loving or for love. إِنَّ الْبَخِيلَ لَا يُحَبْ. Indeed, the stingy person is not loved. Right? Which also I could probably say al-bir would be the opposite of bakhil here. Right? You could put that over there if you wanted. Bir be the opposite of bakhil. Right? If you do righteousness, meaning to do whatever charity you can. The opposite of bir is bakhil, inshallah. Taharatul akhlaqi min karamil a'raqi. The purity of character is from the nobleness of lineage, or from the noble lineage. Al-kidbu wal-namima wal-ghadru sharu shima. Lying and tale carrying and treachery is the evil character. Ta'anna fil umuri la siyama sururi. And be deliberate in your actions, especially those which are taken as play and amusement. Wa'jal ila al-khayrati. Rush to do good deeds. Min hadr al-fawati. From the caution of them being no longer there, of them passing and expiring, you no longer having the ability to do them. Ma laka ghayru nafsika. Ma laka ghayru nafsika. You don't have anything except yourself or your soul. La taku anha mumsika. Do not be someone who withholds from it. Alright? So this is what we had. Hopefully it's clear. You guys should not need as much as we needed in, say, lesson readings 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Now we're in lesson or unit reading 25. Should be a whole lot easier for us, inshallah ta'ala, especially walking it through. You have the ability to pause and rewind. So if there's any questions, then put them in the comments. Any suggestions or criticisms or corrections, then they're always welcome, as I am a human being and a weak one at that, so I am very prone to making mistakes. So inshallah ta'ala, I look forward to reading any of your comments if you have them, and inshallah ta'ala soon we'll post reading number 26. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.